You already know what to do. You've known for a while, honestly. And you felt it in your chest when you wake up at 3 a.m. You felt it in how tired you are. Not regular tired, but that deep bone level tired that sleep just won't fix. You've prayed about it. You've journaled about it. You've talked around it with your girls without ever quite saying that real thing out loud. You know. So why haven't you done it? Why are you still holding on, still pushing through, still showing up strong when everything in you is asking you to stop? Well, I think it's because you're waiting for someone to give you permission. And I want to talk about that today because that permission slip, you've been the only one, boo boo, who could write it all along. Welcome back to the Dope Black Chick Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly. And today I just really want to talk about the exhaustion that we feel when we're trying to carry something for so long. As you know, if you've been following this podcast episode, you already know that I share with you my lived experience. So anything that I'm going to be discussing is a lived experience, right? If you're new here, hello and welcome. Glad to have you here. This is going to be a great opportunity for healing, I hope, for you. And I wrote in my latest blog post about tired of being the strong Black woman. And it's really about the exhaustion we feel in carrying everything that doesn't belong to us. Sometimes we carry everything for other people, and God just wants us to put it down. And I've been going through a period or a lesson of allowing. That has been the theme God has given me for the past week. And every day it's like another level of allowing. Now, if you are a serious fan of the show, you know I've already talked about surrender and letting go multiple times. And I'll actually link those past episodes in the description below so that you guys, if you're on YouTube or in the show notes, um, I'll have those linked so that you can go back and look and listen to those episodes as well, because they will definitely feed your soul. But I have been dealing with surrender and letting go. It is hard for me. Why? Because I'm a control freak. And I'm sure I'm not the only person. That's why I'm not even ashamed about saying that, because it's so many. The response I've gotten from my most recent blog post over on IHearThatGirl.com, um, the response is a lot of me's. Me too. That's me. Dang girl, you called me out. Like that's the responses that I have been receiving. So I know it's not just me. It's a lot of us Black women, right? God has just really been impressing on me to allow God to handle this, right? If I was just to give this over to God and say, okay, God, I trust you in the outcome. So it's not even on me to plan it out exactly, to stress over the possibility that it could go wrong or it could go right. It's not on me to do that. I trust you to do what you said you do. We say that, but it's the allowing that's the difficult part. That's the thing. So today, yes, I want you guys to go. I want you to read the article, the blog post that talks about the feeling of exhaustion. And in that, it does also give you the cycle that we all go through, because I've been here before. That's why I say I've talked about this before. I've been here before. I know the cycle. I know the period of not allowing God, recognizing that you haven't, and that's usually where exhaustion shows up. And you're like, oh, I'm tired, Chad. Lord Jesus, take the wheel, right? At that point, we then start allowing God. to do things in our life. And in that point, you start to see you're aligned because you're no longer trying to take the wheel, right? So you're aligned and things just start flowing easily. You have more joy. And then you'll get this joy, you'll get the things that you've always been wanting, and you start feeling like I need to control it because I need to make sure that I don't lose it. And you take the wheel back. And then the cycle starts all over again. So that cycle is broken down in the blog post as well. So if you are at the point of exhaustion, definitely go to that link and read through it. I think it will help you. Okay. But today on the podcast, what I wanted to do is go to the next step, to the point of, okay, I read that. How do I allow? How do I do the practice of allowing? Because the practice of allowing is the hard thing, right? So that is what we will do in this episode. And so as I open this up, the very first insight that I've noticed in my life and in my journey, in my lived experience of this, is the identity trap. Okay. Being the strong one isn't just a role, it becomes a whole identity. I became the strong friend, I became the advisor, I became all of that. Like it becomes an identity. You've been the one who holds it together for so long that you don't know who you are without it. In 2024, I was let go from my corporate job. And I've talked about the corporate structure before, and I'm a creative. It just doesn't work for me. However, when all the work that I've done in my business is literally corporate work, right? Because whatever you're doing as a creator, you literally are covering every department that a corporate structure would hold. You're the HR, you're the marketing, you're brand, you are design, you are strategy, you are analytics, you are social media. You see what I'm saying? So you really are a corporate structure. That's for anybody who's listening, who is a creative right now. And you may feel like, oh, well, I don't work in a corporate office space, so that doesn't make me legit. Lies. I want you to remove that from your brain. It's not true. You are. You are literally having an entire corporate ecosystem in your one solopreneur world. Okay. But I'll be honest, we do wait for that stamp of approval, that permission slip. So when I moved into a corporate workspace, because of this, the skills that I had gained and the experience that I had gained from running my own business, it felt like a stamp of approval. It felt like a permission slip. Not that this job was the end all be all, because even while I was working it, I was like, okay, this is a step towards me having my corporate business. You see what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking. So it felt like somebody was giving me permission to be the great person that I already was. And so that strength can quietly become a cage for you, because now you have this identity that says, yes, I'm always right. Yes, well, not that I'm always right, but I should know which way to go. I should know the right next step. I always provide advice for everyone else. So why can't I do it for myself? Especially when you feel deterred or you feel disappointed or down. When you've been praised for being unbreakable, asking for help or choosing rest feels like a betrayal of who you're supposed to be. And when I say choosing rest, after I got laid off, guys, my husband was like, just relax. take some time and relax. And I was like, cool, that's what I'm gonna do. Sit at home and relax. Hardest thing ever. Hardest thing ever. There is an episode of the podcast where I talk about that as well. You got to check it out. I'm telling you, the Dope Black Chick podcast is really like a journal for me. I'm sharing all my mess with y'all. But yeah, I didn't know how to rest. It was like I needed permission to rest. Like, was it okay not to, or was it okay to sleep in? Was it okay to not have an agenda for the day? Was it okay? Like, I had even created in my rest an agenda for rest. It was like, oh, get up in the morning, I'm gonna do my new morning routine. Then I'm gonna get up and go to the gym. Then I'm gonna stop and get smoothies because I want to. And then I'm going shopping or get my nails done. Then I'm going to the spa. And then that will classify as an appropriate rest day. But if you are strategizing your rest and relaxation, is it really rest and relaxation? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And I know a lot of you guys are as well. So let's talk about the permission myth, because it is a myth that we need permission from anybody other than ourselves. We've been conditioned to wait for validation, for a sign, for someone wiser or more certain to tell us it's okay. You don't need anybody's permission but your own. It shows up for us in very quiet ways, the need for permission. Sometimes you'll stay in the wrong situation until it gets worse. Or you need a breakdown to justify setting up a boundary. Or you wait for someone else to notice just how depleted you are before you allow yourself to acknowledge it. And then the worst thing is you end up in the hospital before God got to sit you down before you sit down. Permission was never out there, y'all. It was never out there. It was always an inside job. It is up to you to give yourself permission to just be. It is up to you to give yourself permission to let go. It is up to you to give yourself permission to allow God to take over. The third insight that I have found in my lived experience, surrender is a choice, not a collapse. Okay? I had to learn that surrender is not giving up. It's not weakness. It is the most intentional, powerful choice that you can make when you stop confusing endurance with strength. Let me say that again. It is the most intentional choice that you can make when you stop confusing endurance with strength. You know, there's a difference between holding on because you believe and holding on because you're afraid of what letting go may say about you. Some people are in relationships and they won't let go because they're like, people are going to say, I give up. Or people are going to say that I'm just no good at relationships. Versus, I'm going to let go, or I'm holding on because I believe this thing can actually work. Woo! Now that one is for if you are in a relationship with somebody, any relationship, and you are struggling with that choice. That's what I want you to hear me and hear me well. There is a difference. Holding on because you believe, or are you holding on because you're afraid of what letting go says about you? Take that with you. Do with it as you must. But I had to use that for myself in various situations, right? Because that's part of the identity thing. Like, it has trapped you into believing something or this persona that you don't, if you let it go, if I let go, then people are going to think I'm not this persona that I've been trapped into. Well, you know what? Good riddance. You're exhausted. Let it go. Let it go. You know, I'm telling you guys, this is my lived experience. This is me waiting for permission that will never come. Like I told you guys, I thought that was the stamp, right? The permission that said, yes, you know, your experience or ability to know this skill is regulated because you now have this position or title or this job or corporate structure. It never came. Any of them people on the job was just as crazy and foolish, like Barack Obama says. When you sit at the table with the people, you recognize they ain't smart. They not smart. It was real quick. I recognized it. Okay, so I recognized that your genius, your skills, your talent, your gifting has always been yours. Those people cannot approve you or approve the genius level that you have. They can't. They're basically coming to you because they need something that you have. We have to recognize that. Nobody is going to show up and release you from this. You have to release yourself. So you have to stop thinking that you need anybody's approval to be who you are, to do what you want, to have what it is you want to have. You just have to release yourself and say, you know what? It is mine. The how I'm going to get it, I don't know. That's not for me to figure out. But I'm going to allow God to bring it to me. Why? Because I believe God. I believe that this gifting is not just here by circumstance, that this gifting is not here by coincidence, right? I believe that because I have this gift, what I ask for is mine. It's already done. If you already have the gift, that means it's already there, right? They say your gift makes room for you. So if you already have the gift, the room is already made. Okay? So I want you to take that with you. I want you to take that with you. I want you to think about that. Help it, use it to help you filter through some of these decisions, some of the things that are exhausting you. Use it to help you filter through your next step. Okay? Because the permission slip was never lost, guys. You just handed the pen to somebody else. When you write your own, uh, it's not like a grand declaration. It's not that. For me, and I'm thinking about the past, right? When I gave the pen to myself and I wrote my own permission slip. Because now I'm in the process of writing a new permission slip, right? What it feels like to me is release. It's like the doors of the church are open. I don't know. It just feels like, you know, like a wind gushing through because you finally get to say, you know what? I'm done. I don't have to carry this. I don't have to carry this. But it's a quiet, private choice. Sometimes it sounds like, no more. No more. I'm not taking that anymore. Or I've had enough. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just finally letting yourself feel what you've been outrunning. Now, I'm not asking you to have it all figured out. I'm not. What I'm asking is for you to stop waiting. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that the work you've done is worthy. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay to walk away from that relationship. It's okay to walk away from that job. It's okay to cry. It's okay to um whatever the case may be, to feel upset. Don't stop waiting for somebody to tell you that. The permission is yours. The permission is has always been yours. And you just have to allow yourself to give it, to receive it, right? That's it. Just that simple, loves. I thank you so much for tuning in to the Dope Black Chick podcast. And as I stated earlier, I will have the links to those past podcast episodes on surrender, because I know a lot of people struggle with surrendering and allowing and letting go. So those two episodes will be linked in the show notes. Um, and I will also link you to my most recent blog post about tired of being the strong Black woman, the exhaustion that we feel. That will be linked as well in show notes and in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. I thank you guys so much. Share this episode with someone who you may know is in need, and maybe you don't know, because y'all know we don't tell nobody. We're holding it all to ourselves. But if you feel so moved, then share the episode. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share. Until next time, guys, peace and blessings.